This is Frank Fortunato with Catex TV. Today is Friday, October 7, 2011. This is going to be a little bit of a different news broadcast. If you've been watching this for a while, this is going to be how I think. It's possibly been brought on as a result of watching Andy Rooney's last broadcast on 60 Minutes. There's something going on in this country that should be brought to the attention of the risk industry. Beginning in the early 1990s in China, authorities in Beijing were flummoxed by secret groups such as the Falun Gong, who were able to assemble tens of thousands of protesters anywhere in Beijing for anti-government demonstrations. The assemblage of protesters in a totalitarian society was troubling enough, but what really bothered the government was the speed at which these protesters were notified by Falun Gong leaders and how quickly the masses of people evaporated once the police arrived. The Falun Gong, of course, were using emails and cell phones, which is why China has the most stringent internet control policy in the world. They don't want any more surprises. We saw the instant assemblage of people in Iran last year during the protests after the disputed presidential election. We saw it this year during the Arab Spring, when hundreds of thousands of people were in contact via Twitter and Facebook, forcing tottering regimes to shut down the internet and wireless across whole countries. And in the U.S., big city police are keenly aware of so-called flash mobs, where hundreds of youths can be notified electronically to appear at the entrance to a shopping mall or a street corner, overwhelming both the police and the public. This phenomena has entered American politics. It happened 2 years ago when the billionaire Koch brothers noticed a vein of anger expressed by discontented Americans dressed up as colonial Tea Party patriots who decried high taxes, centralized government authority, and mainly President Obama. The Koch brothers quietly funneled millions of dollars into the group to help create its own technological and financial infrastructure that now allows for similar spontaneous-like demonstrations as we saw in the Arab Spring. Of course, I know that no matter how good people like the Koch brothers are in manipulating people, the Tea Party would not be able to gain any traction in this country unless there really were people who agreed with the feeling of being unrepresented. The Koch brothers tapped into something that was real, but they used that feeling to create an anger on the part of their protesters that has effectively masked the real intent of the movement's founders: keep their own taxes low so they can make more money and take away the safety nets that save those less fortunate than us. I am an organ donor. It says it right on my driver's license. After I die, I don't care who gets my kidneys. It could be a Tea Party person, it could be an Iranian, it could be a Somali, it could be any human being. They're welcome to have them. If I was in a foxhole in a war and my fellow soldier next to me was a Tea Party member, I'd do anything I could do to support him, protect him, and save him. Nothing different than what I would do if he was my own brother, simply because he was a countryman, a fellow American. But in the course of normal life, I'd have no interest in socializing with someone like that, having dinner with them, lunch or coffee. And that's because I believe that if you work hard, pay your bills, and be responsible, and try to live life the right way, that things will work out. Now, I don't mind paying taxes to keep the country that's afforded me the privilege of living here running. I don't mind paying taxes to help out those for whom things don't work out and who need help. I suspect there are more people who feel like I do than there are people who prefer to dissolve the government, eliminate taxes. People like me who've gone from being vaguely uneasy with the American financial situation to becoming very skeptical of a political situation where the Tea Party-controlled House of Representatives is preventing tax increases for the rich and for corporations, all while the numbers of Americans classified as poor has grown for the most recent part of the decade. Something's been happening now on Wall Street for the last 3 weeks. Hundreds of protesters have camped out overnight at a park in Lower Manhattan, their ranks swollen each day with union members and ordinary Americans coming together to protest corporate greed and financial irresponsibility. The protests have now spread to Chicago, Philadelphia, Los Angeles, St. Louis, Kansas City, and Washington, D.C. And yesterday in his press conference, President Obama was asked what he thought about them. He sympathized with the feelings and predictably said that if they want change, they should lean on the Republicans in the Congress to pass his jobs bill. I don't know about you, but it seems to me that these protests on Wall Street are outing people like the Koch brothers. The Wall Street protesters are protesting the selfishness of people like the Koch brothers, who've earned billions of dollars from tax breaks and incentives provided by us, the taxpayers, and they want to be damn sure that that happy situation continues. I don't think the Wall Street protests are going to stop anytime soon. I admit I thought the Tea Party movement was bound to be a flash in the pan, but it's effectively ended up controlling the government. I think one of the reactions to the Tea Party itself is that if such an extreme movement can come to dominate our national economy in such a short time, then people who think differently, like me, had better get up and start doing something. The protests won't stop. When liberals or the left try to fight back against the Tea Party ideas and propose raising taxes and strengthening the safety net, the Tea Party yells back that we're trying to foment class warfare by taking from the wealthy and giving to the poor. Who are they kidding? This has been class warfare from day one. They just haven't seen it. They're the ones being manipulated by the richest of the rich to act on their behalf to save their special interest perks, while they themselves are enticed to demonstrate for education aid cuts to their own kids, reduction to their own Social Security, reduction to their own Medicare, cuts in their own veterans benefits, and elimination of their own federally assisted mortgages. And overall, reductions in government services that will weaken police, transportation, and social infrastructure in their own towns. All while people like the Koch brothers fly above us in splendor on their Gulfstream 5 jets off to one or another of their well-guarded estates throughout the world. Class warfare is a generous term. Stupid might be more like it. It's time for the reaction to come, and I think we've been seeing the seeds of it for the past 3 weeks. Politicians need to ride this wave or get out of the way, because it's definitely going to continue. Have a good weekend. Thank you for listening.